good evening and welcome to Conversations with Entrepreneurs. I am your host, Alethea Brown, and I am joined tonight with a special guest and our three hosts. So we're going to start with Chanel and work our way to our guest tonight. Chanel?
Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chanel, founder and CEO of Moonglade Travel. Happy to be here tonight.
And we have Dion.
Afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. Afternoon, Ms. Williams. Glad you can be with us.
And Jeff.
Good evening, everyone. It's Jeff White with Yes We Did Virtual Learning Center. Happy to be here and see everybody.
And we have our special guest tonight, Donja Williams. Donja, can you introduce yourself and tell us about your business?
Yes, thank you for having me on the show tonight. My name is Donja Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of Freedominme. We are a business coaching and consultancy firm. We're based in Charlotte, North Carolina. However, we do support businesses across the state. So we help all businesses. So whether you're a startup entrepreneur, a small or medium business, or a corporation who's in need of consulting or training, we can support your business. I also am the founder and CEO of a nonprofit called Freedominme Business Showers, where we support startup entrepreneur success. Just like baby showers or bridal showers, we provide business showers.
Yeah, that's something we have talked about before with the business showers. Could you tell us a little bit of how you set that up, how people will go to register for those?
Yes, so business showers is like my baby. I always hear people tell me, I think you like not making money more than you like making money. But we all like money, right? I love making money. So, but during the height of the pandemic, we, just like all businesses, we were impacted by the shutdown and so many people losing their jobs, businesses losing their revenue. We had a lot of big goals, a lot of plans and things in motion, and just like that, all of that was paused or non-existent, really. But what we saw is the entrepreneur side of our business pick up. We saw entrepreneurs who were desperate to feed their families, desperate to make income. And then in some cases, entrepreneurs who said, hey, I have all this time on my hand, and they found passions that were dormant. And so, of course, because my heart always is first to give, I said, well, we need to do something to help some of these entrepreneurs out. Of course, people was not quick to get up off of their money and their resources during the height of a pandemic. And so we said, hey, let's do business showers. Business showers was a way for Freedominme to give back to the community, even in our own need. We said, how can we do this? Yeah, we're low on funds. We need resources as well. So how can we do this? So we put it out there, and it was an amazing response. What I really saw from the request is I saw community. I saw entrepreneurs, despite whatever their situation is, step up, whether you were in the state of Georgia, whether you were in Phoenix, Arizona. We have people in Virginia, all over the state saying, hey, I want to help a new entrepreneur to be successful. So I don't have actual cash to give, but you know what? My business is creating websites, and I know that a website is critical for entrepreneur success. So I'm willing to donate a website. And that same sentiment was really spread across small businesses. Corporations were catching on. It just kind of like had a ripple effect. Not only that, the need, when we put it out there to support our first business, we had an influx. I think our first virtual business shower, we had over 100 applicants for a business shower and entrepreneurs who needed the support. And from there, it's just grown. We actually just celebrated our 1-year anniversary in October for the nonprofit. We quickly realized that, hey, this is kind of taking on an identity of its own. So where it was just a community effort through the business, it kind of formed its own. And so we, earlier this year, made it a nonprofit.
Thank you. Dion, any questions?
No, just comments. I want to say this. The first time I heard this idea of business shower, I just want to be very transparent and say I became like really jealous, but in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like this was like the greatest thing I had never heard of, but everybody thinks about too. You know what I mean? It just was the most practical thing and the most it had that sense of community, bringing people together even the first time we heard it. And it's amazing what all this pandemic has brought us, and to see your business thriving and even being born, and then like you said, just taking on an identity of itself. Congratulations. It is absolutely, Miss Williams, it is absolutely one of the smartest things I've heard in the last 10, 15 years, really.
Thank you.
Chanel?
I'm gonna have to agree with Dee. I remember we had Carol, like Cheryl, on the show, and he was the one that brought the term to. It was the first time I had ever heard it, and I was like, that is brilliant. Why didn't we think about that? Like you said, Dee, I was jealous. I didn't have a business shower. But it was a creative way to me, and it was an intentional way for us to support, we talk about Black business, but like I said, any business, but to support businesses. Not always our friends and family need our services or products, or sometimes they can't afford our services or products, or they're not our ideal clientele, but there are ways that they can support us. Like you said, it's not always financial, which is great, and that's probably the number one need that I'm sure you see from a lot of the businesses that come your way. But the resources, I could help you develop your website, or help print your business cards, or help get you, a back end office set up, or whatever. The options are endless. The needs are so great. So I just thought it was a brilliant opportunity. So when I saw that you were doing it locally, I was like, oh my gosh, we got to talk to see, like I said, how you got started. What are some of the major challenges that folks are needing? Over 100 applications for that first business shower. That just is an indication of how great the need is. But what are those things? What are the most pressing needs that some of those folks had? And how many of those needs were you able to meet with the corporations and collaborations that you were able to form?
That's a really good question. So we knew going into business showers, because our business is coaching and consulting. And so on the entrepreneur side, studies show that the top 4 reasons that most businesses aren't successful is due to marketing, is the lack of having a business management plan, is the lack of resources, and not having an adequate management team. So, and statistics were right. Going into business showers, we definitely saw that the number one area that we see people struggling with is marketing. How do I get my business out there? No one knows about me. How do I pitch my message? How do I price my products? What do I do in order to get started? How do I make sure that I'm legal? What licenses do I need? There is just a wealth of questions. And then you have the element of the unknown. I'm a brand new business owner, and I may have a skill set, but I don't know really what it takes to run a business. So I don't know what I need, right? There are so many different variables, but the number one thing that we constantly see is the marketing aspect, and which is why I love, we decided late in November to take it from a virtual platform to an in-person platform, to give entrepreneurs more visibility, to get them on that platform where you come before multiple people, the community. You had your small business vendors, we brought corporations together, and we had the community at large amongst these honorees who were just getting started in business. And the corporations had a vested interest because they are there to support the entrepreneurs. And so they had exposure amongst 100 plus people right there along. And I always convey the message that every person you connect to, you expand your reach. So going into the business shower, I said, if you just imagine 100 people at your fingertips, if you can connect with each one of those people in the room, you just grew your network by 100 plus. Let's just times that by tenfold, 100 people. Imagine how much you have grew your network. So we encourage not only the honorees, but the corporations, the small businesses in the community, bring business cards, prepare to network. We had the first hour was literally just socializing, networking. We played business bingo to get to know who was in the room and to force those conversations. And I think, the honorees were excited too, but I think the overall consensus was people love the connections. They love the networking. They love getting the exposure. And then we saw after the business showers, we got flooded with businesses at all levels. We had corporations who came and said, hey, I got a new employee from the business shower. We had small businesses say, hey, I got my next gig booked. We gave speakers their first speaking engagement and they got additional bookings. And that was something that we were also adamant about, is bringing those startup entrepreneurs, those smaller businesses who were just getting started or who was affected greatly, to when we did have the resources, we wanted to pour it back into the smaller businesses. We wanted to give those businesses their first opportunities, their new opportunities to do business, to put their business. So it was fold in terms of ensuring that everyone there was able to connect at some level, whether you were an honoree or you were just in the audience looking to support. Everyone had an opportunity to connect.
That's amazing, to be able to pull those resources. I can just imagine how the people felt having those resources, making those connections is huge. And that's big with entrepreneurs. Jeff, your take?
I'm loving this. Simple the fact that this is what's needed, because first off, we just need to connect more and interact more as business owners, especially business owners of color. We need to start working together, and the more we can work together, the better we can build our communities. And I personally think businesses are one of the most important parts of building our communities. So my question to you, first, I love your idea, and I'm so glad you did, and I'm jealous too. Actually, I will say,
don't be jealous. Everybody, it's room for everybody in business showers.
You're right. I'm not jealous. I'm hating. Let's just say that. I'm hating. But no, seriously, this is fantastic. But my question to you is, how many people have you seen who they had really no idea where to even begin? And I think that's one of the biggest problems that we see, because our schools don't teach this. And so a lot of people are waking up and say, I want to start a business, but they don't realize all the hard work it takes. So are you guys having to take the time to kind of explain what really goes into starting a business? Because a lot of times people don't really get it, and they don't understand it could take some time. So are you seeing a lot of that too? And what type of businesses do you see the most that people are starting?
So two questions. So the first one is, yes, we are seeing, I would say, at least 85 to 90% of the businesses that come through business showers, not sure, they think they just need marketing, right? Because it's like, I want to be able to sell my product or my service, so I need to market it to get it out there. Well, marketing as a business consultant is a huge umbrella. It's huge. So when you talk about marketing, it can get very, very specific in detail. And so a lot of times these business owners do not know what they need. They say marketing, but they don't even have a business plan. They have not even filed their EIN. They don't have business bank accounts. I always tell people, I joke around and say, the state tells us that we're legalized we're a legal entity when we file an LLC or S Corp or, one of the other entities. But the truth of the matter is, you're not really a business until you start transacting through a business bank account, because everything from that point hinges upon your business transactions. So to answer your first question, no, they don't really know what they need. about 85 to 90% of them. But one of the things with business showers is we provide comprehensive business coaching. So we want to ensure our goal for the business shower is to curb the failure rate that happens to small businesses. So we accept entrepreneurs at the very startup phase all the way up into 1 year. And the goal is to get them coaching, consulting, resources, support in order to prevent the over 50% failure rate that happens within the first 3 years of small businesses. And so that is what we do. Amongst the other things, we provide the marketing, the business plan, those things we give them. They have 90 days of comprehensive coaching where we talk about who is your ideal client, how to identify them, where to find them. We go through the different aspects of a business plan, what your executive summary should look like, what we talk about. Financials tend to be the hardest part of a business plan. We break down the financials and how they should look, how you project your costs, your profits and losses. So there's a broad range of coaching that the honorees that come through our program get to ensure that they have it. And then one of the most important things, pieces of coaching, is we do SWOT analysis, not only on your business, but on you as an individual. Because again, I may have a skill set. Let's just say I'm good at doing crafts. It does not mean that I'm good with money management. So you may need to outsource that, or you may need a team that focuses on managing your money in your business. So we talk about what that team looks like. And then you asked another question. I'm sorry. I don't know if I got all of it in there, but.
No, I was asking what type of businesses do you see primarily? And I love the fact that you said SWOT analysis, because you don't hear that very often.
I seen you light up, Jeff. I seen you light up, Jeff. I knew it was something educable that I did not retain in my own site.
Yeah, when she says SWOT, I'm like, okay, she's legit. A lot of people don't know what SWOT is. They thinking, SWOT like the military, but there's a SWOT analysis that you must do for businesses. So yes, I love it. I'm just so happy to hear you say that. Yes, you are seriously legitimate. I love it. But yeah, my question was, about what type of businesses do you see? That's it.
We see it all. So one of the things that we were adamant about with our in-person business shower this past July is we wanted diversity, not only in people, but in businesses. So we had someone from the construction. She was a construction. She did construction, new build construction. We had someone that was in the beauty industry. We had someone that was in the skincare industry. We also had someone that they were doing like influencing for like connecting like the smaller businesses. I thought it was so unique and cool. Small businesses to, or big businesses to influencers, but they were targeting smaller businesses and individuals who didn't even realize they were influencers, right? Sometimes people have a huge following on Facebook and they're constantly getting comments and likes and things of that nature, but they don't even know that they can be monetizing for their influence. So we had that. We had a real estate company. We also had a doula. We get it all. We really do. We get it all. We had a lot of people apply that were doing home health agencies, housing, you name it. We see it all in the business shower. So the need is great across all industries.
I like that you mentioned the products. I've been noticing just from different people and different entrepreneurs we're connected through on the different social networks. A lot of people are creating their own products, specific products too. And so how do you manage and coach a company that's focusing on creating their own product, like that whole process? What would you say to them if someone is watching now that's in that particular industry, and they're trying to figure out what their next steps are, other than us giving them your telephone number for them to call you to get it started. But what would you say to them? Because that's been a very interesting business that a lot of people are jumping. Is creams, is hair, is all kinds of different new products that people are coming out with.
So I guess it would really depend on where they are in their journey, honestly. But I would encourage them to be crystal clear with their ideal customer. And I know that sounds so simple when I say that, but it really isn't, because if you don't know who you're marketing to, then you're just literally shooting darts at a wall, hoping something will stick. You'll get frustrated when your friends and family don't support you. And I always tell people, don't expect them to. You don't want friends and family. You want people and individuals who need your product and service. And so because of that, understanding who those individuals are, and then what are their pain points? What are the areas that is concerning for them, that because you need to provide a solution to their problem. So if you understand what your ideal customers' problems are, you can position your product as a solution. So it sounds, again, so simple, but you'll be surprised how often people say, well, my customer is everybody, anyone who needs, but that's not really true, right? Because if you are making skincare products and it's designed for people with dry skin, well, I'm not a person that has dry skin. I don't care about your products. It's going to make me moist because I already have oily skin, right? So you need to be crystal clear about who your ideal customer is, where you find them. In marketing, we call them the demographics and then the psychographics. The demographics are things like your age, your race, your behavior, your religion, socioeconomic status. All of those things are your demographics. Then your psychographics are your behaviors. What are the behaviors? Do they surf social media? Do they hang out at the parks? Do they go on vacation? Where do they hang out? What are their thought processes? What do they believe about themselves? These are all questions, if you ask a person about their ideal customer, they won't be able to answer. So I think if you can really take time, if anything, really understanding that, and then create a plan. I'm big on goals. I'm big on goals because the second thing we hear is, I'm not successful because I didn't make thousands of dollars, or I'm not making six figures. But really, really understanding what success is, right? Success for me may just be the fact that I took my goals and my ideals out of my head and I wrote it on paper, right? You're beginning to manifest those things. Success for the next person may be, I have never made a profit from my product or service. So if I make one sale, I'm successful. So identifying success and then giving yourself time and grace in order to be able to grow. I talk a lot about SMART goals. People don't take the time to write goals. They just jump right out there in business and they're frustrated before they get started. But I always say the number one most cliche thing that I always like to tell people is a failure to plan is a plan to fail. It really is true. And goes back to not having a business plan. It does not have to be full blown business plan like the banks are looking for, but some kind of plan that says where you are, what where you want to go, and the things in between that you need to do in order to get started.
Yeah, I agree. Chanel?
I'm just blown away. I am
Stick
like,
a
yes,
fork
yes,
in
yes.
me. Stick a
All the
fork in me. I'm done,
yeses.
Chanel.
All the yeses, because what I've noticed, especially in the Charlotte entrepreneur ecosystem, is that that's the gap, especially for those that are really truly starting off. Like, I just have this bright idea. I don't know where I need to start. Do I file an LLC? Do I do this? Do I do this? They have no clue in most cases, but there are not a lot of support for folks in that stage. Usually it's you've haven't had to start your business, you've had to be in business for at least a year and have all of these other success benchmarks that those folks don't have. So kudos to you for honing in on that unique demographic for entrepreneurs in that phase. I love that your coaching approach is about creating those opportunities. I think that was brilliant about the business showers, because we were just thinking, okay, well, here goes some entrepreneurs that have a need, here goes some folks who's looking to support, but you've created this environment that's so much more than that. It's the connections, it's the networking, it's the opportunity to build relationships. But then the educational piece, I like that you give. I saw on your website, you have a done for you service where you can actually do these things for entrepreneurs, but then you also can combine that with, now let me teach you what you need to do to take it to the next level. I mean, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree with Chanel that so much has changed as far as startups. I think with so many people, pandemic, I'm tired of corporate America, I'm trying to do my own thing, that there are some people that are going down, just even trying to file an LLC is not as easy today as it was last year this time. They just changed that, and people, and the other thing too is people see the first website and just because it had IRS in it, they clicked on it and they paid for EIN number, which is free, that they can get. So they just rushing to do something. So having a organization like yours out there will stop a lot of people from just jumping through those hula hoops to try to, and then, discouraging themselves as they go through. So like Chanel says, this is just a wealth of knowledge that's definitely needed out there. Definitely needed.
And that's what it's for. I know my committee, when they hear this and listen back, we always fight with in terms of making it like we should charge, and I'm like, no, because we're the one program, we're the one I'm the one that, all my committee is like, we need to charge something, and I'm like, no, let's keep it free, because my passion is really, really, really training and development. So I love training and development. I love coaching and consulting. And so I'm a firm believer to, yes, we want to make sure that we get people who are going to appreciate and that we are going to value the services, but we don't want to forget the ones that cannot afford the services and really, really will benefit. That really was the heart of Business Showers. It was to come together and give people the services. Now, I always talk, I don't like to talk a lot about the gifts, but they have some pretty extensive gifts as well. But I really believe the training and the coaching is invaluable. We had a corporation provide laptops for all of the honorees that they can dedicate for their business. We've had, what were some of the gifts? One person needed, we had someone that did like horse therapy. That was one of our honorees. They got a curriculum on emotional intelligence for their staff. And some of the people we had, some people needed their LLC. We were able to pay for it and file it for them. I mean, there was like a host of things. Some people needed printer machines, those bare necessity things to run their business. So there are some tangible gifts and items, because I know people always, the question I get asked is, what kind of gifts? There are some industry specific gifts, but I think the greatest gift is the knowledge and the coaching and the consulting that is given through the program. And then the in-person business showers, you kind of form like a cohort of individuals. So, and they're all different. And we, our team is really, really good at vetting the applications and strategically putting people in cohorts that can actually support and benefit and help each other. And because it's all around you, it's amazing. Like just to watch it unfold, I had to like tell myself, get back to business and not do so much, because I was 100% Business Showers and the nonprofit, because again, that's my passion, that's my heart. But it really is there to support. We all throughout the year, we have free webinars and trainings that we give to on these topics. So November we have, November 15th, we have a webinar coming up on ways to monetize your business. I laughed and joked. I was like, oh my God, who would have knew as we were promoting our webinar that the internet would go down. And so all of these entrepreneurs scrambling because they can't make money because of social media. Well, you need to be able to monetize in more than one way. You can take one business and monetize that business multiple different ways so that your stream of income, if I don't have a coaching client, right, my business is still creating revenue in other ways. So I'm not sitting there and my business is crumbling. Or training and consulting. Right now, we're in peak season for recruiting on the corporate side, generating leads and stuff. But if I depended solely on my corporate clients, my business will go down. So you want to depend, or you want to make sure that you have multiple income streams. And we give this information free. We just did how to start a business, the fundamental things of what you need to do in order to start a business. And I think one of the things that we bring that a lot of other companies are not doing is we have that hands-on approach. We're in there. A lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm talking to the CEO, but I want to get in there with you. I want to understand where you are. I always tell people, this is not my first rodeo in business, but this is my first successful business, right? But I failed 1,000 times before I got here. I failed, but each time I was determined and I failed forward. I learned something, I grew, I failed again, and I learned something else, and I failed again, and I learned something else, and I failed, and I finally got it, like, aha. But I didn't know that business coaches and consultants existed. So
Well, you brought up two topics that hit with Jeff. You said multiple streams of income, and not too long ago, he did a big thing. We had a show about will your business survive if Facebook and Instagram and so forth was to go down again? So, Jeff, I know your ears perked up when you heard those two things.
Yeah, I mean, everything you're saying is just spot on, because we literally just had a conversation about if the internet goes down, what would you do? And
What's your idea, Jeff? Get his audio back in and give him a little bit of a sec. Well, while he's adjusting his audio, we actually did a show about that with Facebook and Instagram down. Can your business survive without social media? And there he is.
there we go. Sorry, my cat hit my cord over here. So sorry about that. Now, we had a conversation about that just a couple weeks ago. You got to have multiple streams of income, because if you rely on one for everything, then if it goes down, then your business is done. But you said something that the theme of everything you're saying, I think, comes back to mindset. And I think a lot of people don't understand the business mindset. And if you don't understand that you have to have a certain mindset, especially the failing part, that is part of business. And people really need to understand that you are going to make mistakes because you've never done this before. A lot of times you won't have anyone who can help mentor you or guide you in the right direction. So you just walking through a dark house blindly, and you're just bumping into stuff, and you're hitting your knee and you're stubbing your toe because you don't know where you're going. But eventually, like, okay, I remember I went this way before and I hurt my toe. So I can't go this way. I got to go this way over here. Or I can't go this way now because I hit my knee. Oh, let me go this way now. Oh, no, I'm getting it. Before you know it, you done made it through the whole house, even in the dark. That's how business is. And you have to understand that mindset. You're going to make mistakes. And that's what I see a lot of people doing. They fail that one time or two times. Oh, this isn't for me, so I got to give up. That's not the case. It could take years. But if you have the right mindset and then being around the right people like you guys, it's a fantastic thing. But I agree with that multiple streams of income as a business is critical. It's so essential. And you have to learn how to just, make them. You just have to learn how to do it. It's great.
Absolutely. Okay, Chanel, I'm gonna go ahead and let you get started with last words.
Sure. Jeff, I wanted to piggyback on what you said. I think that's such a great analogy about walking through the dark in the house, and you run into those roadblocks and you make those mistakes. But not only do I now know not to maybe go that direction, to go a different direction, maybe now that I know if I can still go in that direction, but I need to walk on, alongside the wall and not in the middle of the room, because that's where the table is. So I think it teaches you so many things. I just analogies, we'll go with it. I think it teaches you so many things along the way. I think it's brilliant. Real quick, before I go into last words, the selection process. I know you said your services, not just for the business showers, but for your consulting services are no cost. What are you looking for in that selection process? What are some things that stand out that says, yes, this person is coachable? This person's going to have some skin in the game, that they're dedicated and committed to, the journey. Are there specific things that you look for?
Yes. So I don't move without my board. That's the first thing. It's a team effort, and I started with that because some are business owners, some work in corporate, and they bring different. We have older, younger, and everything in between. And so because of that, they all bring unique and different perspectives to the team. So with that being said, one of the things that we look for is diversity and uniqueness in business, ideal business concept. We also look for, of course, you have to have been in business for 1 year or less. You can't have been in business longer than a year. Some of the other things that we look for is how much have you done on your own, right? If you are a business owner, while we can accept business owners if they are planning to get started, most cases we don't, because we want to ensure that the business showers is there to support the efforts and the things that you have done for yourself. So if you come to us and you have like a solid plan and this is what I want to do and goals, you might be a really, really great candidate. But if you are coming and just want us to develop your plan, your concept, and give you resources, that's really not the goal. The goal is to ensure that you are successful. And the way we do that is by providing you knowledge, consulting, and then those resources to help you if you're helping yourself. So that's one of the biggest things that we look for. There's different variables. There's not a lot of stringent criteria. We do look at if you have received funding from other sources within the past 6 months, because again, we want to help those businesses and our entrepreneurs who really, really need the help and the support. Going forward, we did not do this the last round, but going forward, the training and the consulting will be on the front end. So we'll actually get a chance to see the people who are dedicated to knowing and learning and growing to receive some of the other benefits and resources of the business shower. I think that we did plan to implement that for the next round of honorees. So you'll get a chance to see, how successful people want to be. But those are really some of the main criteria in terms of looking for candidates for a business shower. And then how well you show up, right? You go through a pre-screening, you go through 2 interviews. Before a pre-screening, you go through an interview, and then you go through a panel interview of committee members and board members. And it's how well you show up. How well can you convince me to purchase your product? Can you convince the person? Imagine I have $1 million. What can you tell me to convince me to give you that $1 million? And so we have our background, or my background is strong in psychology. And so a lot of the questions are designed to really get at that deeper level of thinking and understanding in terms of business concept. And it's okay to not know all the answers. So I don't want people to feel like you have to come in and have it all together. But what we're trying to really understand is how much thought have you put into your own business? How much have you done for yourself? And how hungry are you for success, right? Because we want to ensure that our dollars, we're nonprofits, so every penny counts with nonprofits. So we want to ensure that we're investing our time and our resources on businesses that can and want to be successful.
Yeah, we all agree that's definitely the approach and the people that will be deserving of the time and efforts that your organization is doing. So that's definitely great. We look forward to being able to share a link to your website when we do the promos of the show and people know how to reach out to you and get in contact, because it's definitely needed right now. Chanel, I'm going to go back to you again for the last words.
Perfect. So last words are push harder than yesterday if you want a different tomorrow. And I'm going to credit that to you, Donja, because I saw it on your business Facebook page earlier this month. And it just stood out to me because it is, we talk about thriving for success and wanting different outcomes, but sometimes we got to do something a little bit different. So that's what I'll leave y'all with tonight.
Yeah.
My last words is I am very happy to see such a fantastic nonprofit out there to help businesses become successful. And I do just want to say that is to just give it your all, don't give up. And there are a lot of resources out there that are willing to help you, but you just have to put in the effort. And like you said, you got to have skin in the game. Don't expect people to help you if you're not going to help yourself. That means you have to get out there and bust your butt. And if people don't see you working, they're not going to help you. But if you are working very, very hard, you will get the support that you need. So even if you don't have the support right now, get out there and hustle, because you never know who's watching and you never know who's going to end up helping you one day.
I agree. And Mr. Lamb, I will let you do your last words.
Well, I just want to thank you all for having me on the show. It's been, I love talking about entrepreneurship. Like I said, coaching is my passion, coaching and training and development. It's my passion, but I will leave you guys with, I know you said you're going to put the link if you are interested in any kind of coaching or consulting services, whether it be through Freedominme or through the Business Shower. You can go to our website at www.itsthefreedominme.com. And my final words are, as I say on most of my videos, the best things in life are free. Hey, Freedom, it's me.
I love that. It's like, how can I top that there? How can I top that there? It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show with us here at Conversation with Entrepreneurs. It is a wealth of knowledge out there that entrepreneurs need, right? And what you're doing is exactly needed right now, especially with the uptick in entrepreneurship. So your training and consulting, the startup coaching, and the business showers, that's like, that is a great idea. And the way you approach it is very unique as well. Just as unique as what you're already offering entrepreneurs. So again, we thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to having you back soon, because we know this conversation is definitely going to need to go on. So with that, we'll say my last words is going to be, yes, we have people up here that know what it means to be an entrepreneur. Soak that knowledge in and reach out to them. You never know how well it can help you progress. And then for that, we will say, have a great week. We'll see you again soon.